In this tutorial, we'll learn how to use the Group Data Packager plugin for the Butter text analysis software. What this plugin will do is take text data that's contained in another format and package it up so that we can use these other group and dyad plugins. This includes things like language style matching and latent semantic similarity. Now, the concept of packaging up group data is fairly complicated, so I'll just give a brief overview of how this works. Imagine that we read in a text file that contains separate people who are each saying separate things. Now, one thing that we can do is take these texts and analyze them each individually. However, many of these plugins in Butter that fall under the dyads and groups category are designed to analyze text and compare them between two or more people. Under the hood inside of Butter, there's one possible way to do this called a group data object. Now, you don't need to know exactly what this is or how it works, just know that it's kind of like a box that marks out an entire group of people so that we can make connections between them. So, if we read in a CSV file and each row has a group of people's texts, what we can do is use the Group Data Packaging plugin and put each of these people in a separate box. Then we take the entire group data object and then hand it off to one of these other group and dyad plugins, which will then go and create a bunch of pairwise comparisons between all combinations of people. So in this example, I'm going to use a modified version of the Cornell movie corpus dataset. Now what we have here is each row is a separate movie or a separate group, and the columns correspond to different speakers' texts. So if we look at the very first movie, and we want to compare each of the texts on this row for this observation, we need to package it up as a group data object. That way we can compare text 1 to text 2, text 1 to text 3, and text 2 to text 3. And that's exactly what this plugin will do for us. So let's see an example of what this looks like. We'll go ahead and read in the text from a CSV file, and I'll choose where the file is located. Now the row identifiers, we're just going to use what we would normally use for the read text from CSV plugin. So this is identifying each row of data in our data set. In this case, this is what we're going to use to identify each group of people. Now, because we have three columns that have text, text 1, text 2, and text 3, we're going to select all three of these. Normally, what this plugin would do is aggregate these all into a single text. But because we want to treat each of these texts separately, we'll want to click this option here, treat each column as a separate text. This way, all of the texts are preserved as individual collections of information. Now that we have that, all that we have to do is attach the Group Data Packager plugin, and it'll take these strings that are coming in from the input and package them up as a group data object. From there, we can hand the data sets off to something like the language style matching plugin, and then save our output. And when we go and look at our output, we can see that all of the texts are compared with each other. For movie 1, we see that text 1 and text 2 are compared, text 1 and text 3 are compared, and text 2 and 3 are compared all against each other. So we've taken the film itself and kept the text separate and then run a pairwise comparison between all of them with language style matching. And that's it. That's how you use the Group Data Packager plugin for Butter.